Micah Frankel, CageMinds.com. We're at Judgement MMA with their head jiu-jitsu guru, Rich Chavez. Got a big weekend coming up. Abu Dhabi tournament in North Carolina. It's a big one. How do you feel to be, the only person in New Mexico going out to this tournament?
New Mexico's got such a good history in martial arts, in MMA, and jiu-jitsu. I might be the only one going right now, but I'm not the only one who's ever gone. I know a lot of the Gracie guys have gone. Actually, usually I go with Don Ortega out of Gracie Baja, but it feels good to represent New Mexico. Anytime I go, I know that I'm not only representing my gym, but I represent New Mexico as a team. We all train together. We're all family here.
And then from talking to you earlier, it sounds that you're most exciting for the level of competition.
Absolutely. The level of competition in these tournaments are, all these guys have won Nagas, all these guys have won Grappler's Quest, all these guys have won their local tournaments. I mean, you really have to submit to be invited to these tournaments. Not just anybody could get in, brown belt and above only, and even brown belts most of the time don't get in. So just the opportunity to face such a high talent level is incredible, and I thrive on it. In events like this, I just want to go out and win at this level at a speed and at a pace that nobody ever thought possible.
Does that speed and pace come with, you were telling me about the rounds and the time and the length, and the further you make it, the amount of matches and just that wear and tear of a lot of action?
Absolutely. These tournaments, the thing about them is they're not double elimination tournaments. There are no second chances. So if you go in and try to conserve energy and you lose your first round on points, you don't get a second chance. You're out. You fly thousands of miles and you spend lots of money to go out there, and hey, guess what? You just spent 8 minutes and wasted your time, really. So I go out there and I try to take advantage of every moment, every minute in that match. I'm trying to do something people have never done before. I go out and try to change the world of jiu-jitsu. I try to do leg locks from positions nobody ever thought possible.
And then what led you to being this innovative? Was it the watching it, or is it just thinking of stuff while you're on your back, kind of like, hey, why don't they do this?
No, I think what made me this innovative is in my mind there's a couple different kind of grapplers out there, or jiu-jitsu artists. First off, there's the wrestler turned jiu-jitsu artist, and then there's Gracie Baja guy turned jiu-jitsu artist who's really a gi grappler, and then there's kind of the MMA person who comes along and starts to grapple, which is really no gi. And I consider myself really none of those. I started out kind of doing grappling mixed with MMA, and I was kind of put in a position where I had to get good at my legs, or else I was going to get punched in the face. I had to get super fast, I was going to get punched in the face. And I got to use my legs in a way that nobody had ever seen before, because they weren't tied up in a gi, or because I wasn't busy shooting. So it just kind of, I'm a product of my environment. I come from Greg's, and what's interesting about that is I could tell you on one hand how many moves Greg Jackson has trained there for 12 years and taught there for 12 years. Well, you don't ever really learn moves. You just kind of become a product of your environment. And if you want to thrive even in that gym, you got to get innovative, and you got to do things people haven't thought of doing. So that's why I got good at leg locks.
So heading into a tournament like this, what do you do to be able to have that the long distance running kind of mentality, to conserve your stuff, to stay limber enough to not burn anything out? What do you do to maintain a certain level?
As far as cardio-wise and conditioning-wise?
Yeah, and just keeping your body ready to compete.
Keeping your body ready, you gotta always be stretching. You gotta be stretching, and you always gotta be drilling. Drilling, we stress that in our school all the time. You always gotta be drilling. For me, something that's important to me is you gotta be willing to share your secrets. I notice a lot in jiu-jitsu, things become kind of sacred and secretive. I don't have any secrets. You wanna know what I do, I'll gladly show you what I do. And I hope that you can learn to defend it so that I can get better at it. I'm not afraid to travel and train different places. I'm not afraid to train at any school with anybody. I can learn from anybody. So I just stay open-minded and I stay working hard. I just came back from University of Grappling last week, out at Ricky Lindo's school. Those guys are Olympic level wrestlers. You go in there, and I'm a jiu-jitsu artist. I have zero wrestling experience. You go in and you learn to adapt and how to handle yourself in unknown environments.
And then where did it be? Is that just you naturally jumping into the new experiences, taking the challenges head on?
Yeah, it's my desire to be the best. I don't do this sport to be average. I don't do this sport to be somebody who was once sort of good or somebody who once was ahead of a jiu-jitsu program or anything. I do this to be the best in the world, to do things nobody ever thought possible. That's why I do this. I don't do this to be like the Gracies. I do this to be me, like me.
Trying to be that original, but when you were first starting up, who were the people that were the role models? Who were those people?
When I first started, me and Diego Sanchez were good friends and roommates at a time, and for jiu-jitsu, I actually thought it was kind of a silly sport. He would often ask me to come out and get some grappling in with him or punch him, and I remember I would think, why would I ever do that? Why would I put myself in that position? And he would say, well, I got a fight coming up, at least come punch me. I won't punch back. And I used to be real big into bodybuilding and looking good, and he would say, finally what changed me, he goes, why don't you come in and get a cardio workout? And I thought, I could go in for a cardio workout. And shortly after that, he went off and did the Ultimate Fighter and just got super big. And I just kept doing jiu-jitsu, and anytime you do anything on a consistent basis, you start compounding interest, better and better and better. And just like the military says, anything in life worth doing is worth overdoing, and I'm gonna overdo it.
And then just as a whole overview at jiu-jitsu, there's things like Metamorphosis and rumors that they're going to be getting, on the UFC Fight Pass and that kind of platform to be broadcast and some more people you can see it. What do you think of the growth of the sport in the last 5-10 years?
I think jiu-jitsu as a sport is barely even starting to lift off. MMA is kind of big right now and pretty popular, but jiu-jitsu as a sport, I don't think people even understand it yet. Jiu-jitsu, some people think it's all strength, some people think it's chance, but I think of jiu-jitsu as an art. I think it's not a coincidence that jiu-jitsu is performed on a canvas. You get one shot, one opportunity to paint it, and there's no going back to change it. So I'm excited to see jiu-jitsu continue to grow because I think people don't understand it yet, and I think it'll take off. I think it's an Olympic sport. I think it's a sport that could become an Olympic sport.
Do you think we'll see that happening? I mean, Brazil soon, at least exhibition status.
I know 2 years ago or 3 years ago, Team USA put together a team. They called it USA Judo Jiu-Jitsu. I know they held a national championship. I won that. I got a jiu-jitsu card for USA Jiu-Jitsu. And as far as I know, I'm the only national champion for that at 149 pounds. It sounded at the time like the email I got, it said that they were preparing for the future and jiu-jitsu being a part of the Olympics. But since then, it seems like that theory or that thought has kind of died down a little bit. But I don't doubt that I have students right now who may get the opportunity to be a part of that. If I don't, then I know they will.
And then the coaching. How is it different for you being on the jiu-jitsu side when you're being the MMA coach, watching and thinking about having to strategize around being punched in the face?
The thing about MMA is jiu-jitsu is actually, in my mind, I tell my students this all the time, jiu-jitsu comes third. First is stand-up, then is wrestling, and then is jiu-jitsu. And like Greg Jackson told me years ago, jiu-jitsu from your back has got to be the best position that you never go to. Well, I think in an MMA fight, jiu-jitsu's got to be one of your best things that you never have to resort to. You want people to be afraid of the ground with you, willing to stand.
And then this tournament, how many days are you going to be out there in North Carolina for? How long does this last?
The tournament is actually only Saturday. It's a Saturday morning tournament. It starts at 8 a.m., 6 o'clock Albuquerque time. And the tournament will probably be over by, I'd say, 3 o'clock or so. But I'll stay out there for a while. I'll get there early or late Thursday, and I'll be there Thursday, Friday, just so I can kind of get acclimated. I've done it before, and it's a mistake to show up day of or a couple hours before. So I'll show up a little bit before, and then after the tournament, I'm probably going to drive down to Myrtle Beach. My wife will show up, and we'll spend some time out there, probably 4 days or so.
So after the hard work, a little vacation.
Yeah, absolutely. Why not?
I'm sure there's people you need to thank. Go for that.
Oh man, I can't thank my students and my teammates enough. They just come in here and they work every day. They make me work every day. They never give me a chance to rest. They're always calling me out after class, before class, during class. Hey Rich, let me see if I can get you. Hey Rich, let me go from your back. Hey Rich, let me go from this position. So my team and also like our coaches that we have here, it's such a hassle and such a hard thing to get substitutes for your classes, except at our school, man. Our team comes together as a unit. We follow the curriculum. The students love it. Even when I'm gone, you can't change that. Ricky Lindell's school out in Utah for letting me train there last week. Man, I mean, just so many good things have to happen. You need so much support, people around you. My wife lets me do this every day. Just get lucky. So thanks to all of them.
Thank you for the time. Best of luck this weekend.
Absolutely.